I might have just stumbled on one of the craziest things when it comes to XRP yet. Now, you guys know how super crazy bullish I am on XRP, but I'm also a realist. However, there is something screaming at the charts that I absolutely need you guys to see, as well as take a look at what's going on with the latest news. Now, it isn't as what it seems. There is a lot of hidden agendas, and I'm going to break all of them down in this video. So go ahead, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget, we break the crypto market down every single day, making sure your portfolio is growing this bull market. With that being said, let's get into the video. So I'm going to come back and talk about the charts in a minute, but I wanted just to kind of cover off the news really quickly before I show you the most insane thing in the world that I think I've stumbled across. And let me tell you, no one else is talking about it. So earlier on today, this was posted by Ripple. The prime brokerage services, once dominated by big banks, are evolving to big institutions in DeFi with regulated clearing for derivatives, swaps, and crypto while unlocking trillions in trades. Brad Garlinghouse returns to another round of the crypto in 1 minute and breaks down how prime brokers simplify clearing between TradFi and DeFi at scale. You might be thinking, what the hell's that got to do with anything, 2-Bit? Brad Garlinghouse literally talks about how Ripple and the banks and the financial markets are all coming to cryptocurrency, and the fact that the shackles are off. Trillions of dollars are flowing into the market, and guess who is at the forefront of it? Yes, Ripple. Very interesting that he would choose this moment and talk about things like banking licensing and all the rest of it. Now, I know what you're thinking. 2-Bit, that doesn't make any sense. And I don't care what you think. That's fine. Don't believe me. Believe the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta that talks specifically about XRP. Says this, quote, Ripple provides various services via the use of its native token, the XRP. I love the fact they say the XRP, which is roughly envisaged as an international payments medium or wholesale settlement coin. Very bullish. This is literally got released earlier on today by none other than Coin Bureau. So this is good news. Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta is getting bullish. Now, XRP Ledger also saw a transition, the change in user base and transaction structure again into this year. You know, you may be thinking, well, what is this? Well, the reality is retail investors are slowing down. They're not being used as much. And guess who's coming in like a tsunami of capital? You guessed it, institutions, banks, and everyone else. This is obviously super crazy bullish. And again, shows that XRP, in my opinion, is doing what it did before, which is quietly working in the background while everyone's freaking out about the fact Chris Larsen dumped about 50 million XRP, whatever it was. The fact of the matter is, in the background, some stuff is happening, and we pretty much called it most times on this channel. So the rapid decrease in daily user numbers has been observed, an increase in transactional volumes per network fees paid, i.e. retail investors moving out, institutional big capital moving in. And the fact that Brad Garlinghouse in that video at the start talks about Hidden Road and what they're doing tells me there is even more to come. And actually, this is just a moment in time where everyone's kind of just working out whether it's going to work or not. We know Jamie Dimon himself has talked about blockchain technology. I think this is where we get to. Lots of people are now, though, in the debate, and this is a hot topic, XRP versus Solana, which is going to lead the ETF inflows. Now, let me know in the comments which one you're backing, and I'm going to tell you at the end where I'm at. But this, again, is really important, and it's going to show you exactly what capital is entering the market. So go quick down to the comments. Let me know. Ethereum, XRP, or Solana. I'm getting too excited about myself because I want to show you this chart at the very end. And finally, Bank of America drive digital asset strategy with none other than the Ripple RLUSD. So Bank of America is focusing on stable digital assets, and it's highlighting Ripple's RLUSD. Hold the freaking barn door. So we've got the Federal Bank of Atlanta. We've got the Bank of America, which I've talked about a number of times here on the channel, that I think they'll be the first to move and, quote, interact with XRPL and actually start to buy XRP. I absolutely believe this is going to be the case. Many people don't agree with me, and I think those people are wrong, but that's just my view. Bank of America is emphasizing its inclination to play active roles in stable digital asset markets as part of its digital transformation. The bank's officials have suggested they might release their stable digital asset in the future. Their initiatives are planned in alignment with financial technologies and current regulatory frameworks. For a potential stablecoin project, Bank of America might launch regulatory compliance and widespread usage stand out as a primary criteria. Guess which stablecoin hits all the metrics? You best it. RLUSD emerging among those top assets. So all of that, if you ask me, is pretty bullish and lots of wider good news. Now, let me show you this. Hold on to your hats. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't. There is something crazy going on with the XRP chart. Now, you know we kind of break the charts down and sort of go through it, but I was talking about this move here that we pretty much perfectly timed, and we got the pretty much value correct. Now, when you start to go back and you look where XRP built, what we can see here is an exact similar pattern. Now, you know the old statement, history doesn't necessarily repeat itself, but it often rhymes. And what we can see here is this consolidation all the way through 2023, while everyone was saying Ripple's going to zero, no one cares about it, it's a waste of time. And then we got the move. Now, interestingly on this structure, the height here from the bottom to the top, we got the absolute move from the bottom of this wedge to the top, 128% move. Well, guess what happened on the breakout? You guessed it, 128% move, where we then saw our first consolidation zone before we then moved higher. And what are we seeing right now? Well, the market structure that we talked about here, remember, this is what we broke down the other day live on the channel. Again, you take the top of this line to the bottom of this line, it's going to give us a very interesting number. Now, you may have already jumped ahead. You may have been able to guess it, but what we do know is that this value is exactly the same as this value here. For example, you can take a look here, and that is giving us a 50% move. And then you do exactly the same at this side. And what do you get? Lo and behold, another 50% move. So this is very interesting, in my opinion. Right now, we are in this consolidation phase, like we did back here, before we now break to the upside and retest that 486 and then on to $5. And you already have to take a look at the market itself. We saw a big sell-off of Bitcoin. Altcoins held up. XRP at 314 is pretty bullish. So I truly don't believe people are bullish enough, and I absolutely don't believe people understand exactly what's coming. Many people look at the price, or they just take someone else's opinion. Understand the macro factors that are going to affect XRP and understand exactly what's around the corner. This market's about to get super crazy, and that's why I'm backing XRP as the big ETF ahead of Solana. I think you're going to see some crazy amount of volume going into there, and I think it's going to be a monster of an ETF. So, as always, I'm going to read the comments. Let's see how many of you thought Solana. Let's see how many of you thought XRP. But let me know, are you bullish enough? That's the question on XRP. And until next time, hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.